Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Remnant Warriors. That's the name of my channel. If you're new here, please click the subscribe button. Join the family as we unpack the book of Revelations, mostly on this channel. And we just see where we're at in the world and learn what these things mean in the symbols and symbolic meanings of the book of Revelation. It's very deep and it's very relevant today for us to know what's going on in the world with the Antichrist, with the church. And there's so much in the book of Revelations, and there's so much going on right now that we could learn from in the book of Revelations. So today we're going to be talking about the story of Joseph. And the story of Joseph is a type of the story of Christ in the gospel. If you remember, Joseph was hated by his brethren without a cause, really. They basically hated him because he was spiritual. He kept telling them that he had dreams, that he would one day rule over them and he would be mighty. And Joseph was a spiritual person. And his brothers were carnal and very carnal minded. But they knew that Joseph was favored. Joseph was his father's favorite. Joseph's dad was a prophet. He could see the life of Joseph, what it would be. And so his brothers rejected Joseph, and they cast him away and threw him in a pit. And so we see the same thing happening with when Christ came. His own people rejected him. So the brethren of Joseph represents the Jews of Jesus' day when he walked the earth, how they rejected him because he was spiritual. He was his father's favorite. And his own people rejected him, and they crucified him, threw him in a pit, so to speak. So we can see how that lines up right there. And we also can see that when Joseph was given the highest honor in Egypt, second in command in Pharaoh, everywhere Joseph went, the trumpets were blown, letting them know that his presence was there. And this also types out Jesus. And so when Joseph's brothers came before him many years later, um, Joseph wasn't mean to them. He wasn't bitter towards them. And in fact, when he revealed himself to them, he took care of them. But Benjamin is the real main character here at this point in the story, because Benjamin was of the same mother as Joseph. And so Benjamin represents the 144,000 when Jesus returns the gospel back to the Jews. Because we know over here in the New Testament that Paul talks about how all of Israel shall be saved, but they rejected it in the beginning and crucified him. That was God. That was Jesus' own people. They rejected the gospel, and so it got turned and presented to the Gentiles. But it's prophesied that one day all of Israel shall be saved, and it'll be said when they see him, "Where'd you get these scars at?" And he's going to say, "In the household of friends." And they're going to realize in that moment that he really was the Messiah. And they're going to realize that they indeed, their people many years ago, did crucify the Messiah. And so Benjamin represents the 144,000, because the 144,000 are going to be the Jews that realize Jesus is the Messiah. Jesus is going to reveal himself to them, and this time they will receive the gospel. And they will understand it in truth. And they'll realize that everything that's ever been said about the Lord is true, and they're going to realize that they crucified him. But through that, they're going to receive him. And because, see, back in the story of Joseph, Joseph was concerned about Benjamin. I mean, he welcomed the other ones, the other brothers, but he was focused on where's Benjamin. And he wanted to reveal himself to Benjamin. And if you'll notice in the story of Joseph, when he reveals himself to his brethren, he makes everybody leave out of the palace. So if you also notice, Joseph had a Gentile bride. Doesn't this just type out the story of Jesus perfectly in the Gospels? Jesus also had a Gentile bride. But when he reveals himself to Benjamin, Joseph, the Gentile bride is not there. He made them leave the palace, get out of his presence when he revealed himself to Benjamin. So what this means is that Jesus is going to turn the gospel back to the Jews, okay? But it will be after the close of the Gentile church ages. You see, we had 7 church ages, starting with Ephesus through Laodicea. Once those church ages are ended, okay, what that means is Jesus Christ will stop ministering unto the Gentiles for salvation purposes. He never deals with the Jews and the Gentiles at the same time. Never. So church age is going to come to an end. And basically what that means is that the Gentiles will have had their chance. They will have their chance. And it's going to be over with for them. And once Jesus turns the gospel back to the Jews, the church age will be over with for the Gentiles. And so the gospel will then be presented to the Jews. That's when Jesus is going to reveal himself. He's going to take the veil off their eyes. If you remember in the book of Romans, it was Jesus himself that put the veil over the Jews' eyes so they wouldn't believe, so that all things could be accomplished. Or else the Gentiles would have never had a chance to be saved if they would have received the gospel first. They had to be blinded so the Gentiles could have a chance to be saved too. But the Gentiles are not going to be around. It's not going to be presented like the Lord is going to be switching gears when he presents the gospel to the Jews once again. Remember, they rejected it the first time. Read the book of Romans. Paul explains everything in the book of Romans about how the gospel got rejected, turned to the Gentiles. The Gentiles received it, but one day it'll go back to the Jews and they will receive. And that's the 144,000. That's when Jesus reveals himself to the Jews again. And those 144,000 will receive him. And that's Benjamin types out the 144,000. The Gentile bride, Joseph's wife, is the Gentile bride in the story of Joseph. His brothers are all the other ones that rejected Jesus and actually crucified him. Okay? But Benjamin represents those that will receive him. It types the story out just perfectly and beautifully. So, I just wanted to share that nugget with you. This is not really it is the book of Revelations when in the beginning first chapter it reveals who Jesus is. But the Lord just put it on my spirit to drop this nugget in there as well, because it is the book of Revelations. When you get over talking about the 144,000, and we're not that far away from seeing that happen. You can just tell if you're spiritually oriented at all, and you just look around at the world. If you take a good diagnosis of the bride right now, the Gentile bride in the church, it's It's not doing too good. It's not doing too good. And so we're wrapping up that dispensation of the church ages. And so things are moving rapidly over in the book of Revelations as it pertains to the day that we're living in. You can stop looking for this to come years from now. As we was growing up and preached on these things, how everyone said that, we're not going to be around when that goes on. I'm going to tell you something. That's just not true. That's just not true. We're very close to that. We're very close to the mark of the beast. It's already happening now. It's just being done in the shadows. It's being done undercover, on the low, so to speak. It's not being able to being done in a point to where it's legally accepted. So when it's over in the book of Revelation, it is everything is accepted when this goes on legally. Everybody knows what's going on. It's going to be accepted to persecute the Christians. So things are happening right now in the book of Revelations in our day and age. It's the beginnings of it. It most certainly is. Just take a good look at the world. Everything's leading to a new world order. Everything's leading to a new world church, a new world currency. All the wars that's going on, all the plagues, the COVID, all of this. Look how evil everything is. Look how evil everything is. And so we need to start studying the book of Revelations and see what the Lord says and where we're at. I hope you enjoyed this. This was just a nugget to show you who the 144,000 are and how Joseph types everything out. Joseph representing Jesus. Benjamin representing the 144,000. Joseph's wife represents the Gentile bride church. The story of Joseph represents his brothers rejected him. He was favored by his father. He was spiritual. Joseph's brothers were carnal, Pharisees, Sadducees. Joseph was spiritual, dreams and visions, highly favored of his father. He knew who he was. The Lord was speaking to him at a young age. Joseph's dad was a prophet and knew what was in Joseph. And so he was persecuted and cast away when he really didn't do anything to his brothers. It just represents how the Jews rejected their own Savior, Messiah. It also represents how one day they're going to see what they did, both the brothers and the younger brother, Benjamin. And just study the story of Joseph. Study the book of Revelations. The 144,000 is definitely not the Gentiles at all. It's going to be 100% Jews that will recognize that they did put their own Messiah, the one that was always prophesied about through all of their prophets. They did indeed crucify the one and only. They crucified their own God. But the Lord didn't hold it against them. Everything must have been done for righteousness' sake. And he received them, and they received him. And so there's your 144,000 typed out. The gospel will end. The Gentile bride, the Gentile church age, the gospel will be coming to an end for them. And it will be turned back to the Jews. God never dealt with the Jews and the Gentiles at the same time according to salvation purposes. The Jews were blind, and it was our turn. Our turn's coming to an end is going back to the Jews. That's how close we are. That's how close we are, folks. We're the Laodicean church age. Any basic theologian knows that, And so we're right here at the end of things. And so I enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. And I hope that you like this channel. I hope that you come and join us as we continue to see where we're at in the book of Revelation. So that's all we got for today. Y'all keep me in your prayers. And if you ever think I said anything that you don't agree with, just take it to the Lord first. Take it to the Lord, and then you can ask me any kind of questions. I'm not easily offended. We can talk about it. We can discuss it. I don't know if I've done so yet, but I am going to put an email on my channel somewhere to where you can personally email, so it doesn't have to be um, on the public comments if you want to talk to me. And so I hope you keep tuning in. The Lord has really shown me a lot through Revelations, about the book of Revelations, and it's very deep, and it does pertain to us right now, very, very much so. And so if you're interested in this kind of stuff, then please join me. I got lots more where this came from. It's been my whole life journey, the Lord preparing me for this moment. This is my ministry. This is what me and the Lord does together. We study the book of Revelations. He gives me dreams and visions, and he lets my own personal life live out the book of Revelations. And so I'm going to share my own personal testimonies and experiences on this channel with you all, and show you how it lines up with what's going on with the beast and the Antichrist, and the church and the Jews, and how we're closer. It's closer than you think. It's much closer than the church would like to recognize and acknowledge. So that's all I got for today. God bless you all.